Hi everyone, Donna here with Bookkeeping Made Simple, and I'm going to talk a little bit about internal controls today. This should be quite a short video, actually. Um, we are, excuse me, it has been a long week. I'm so sorry. If you enjoy these videos, if you got anything out of the content, if you found them even entertaining, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. That is how we grow. And if you are interested in more information, or if you have a topic you would like us to cover, please feel free to comment below. Let me know what topic. If you're interested in having us do your books, the number is 801-692-0032. We are in the office Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Mountain time, except for major holidays. So, and those are always posted on Google, so you should be able to see when we're open pretty easily. So I'm going to talk about internal controls. And the reason I even came up with this thought was because of the SBF FTX scandal that's going on right now. I am not sure what the outcome of that is going to be. I know what it should be, but I don't know if that's actually what's going to happen. The lack of internal controls may have been deliberate in that case, but that is what enabled SBF to embezzle $8 billion. And for those of you who are not following this particular scandal, this is Samuel Bankman-Fried, who was running a cryptocurrency exchange and had no internal controls. Stole, like I said, he stole $8 billion between, he embezzled it. We don't know where it went. So let's talk internal controls. Keeping track of your finances is one of the most important parts of running a business. As a small business owner, it's up to you to ensure that your accounting practices are compliant with the applicable regulations and are accurate and up to date. When it comes to creating and maintaining internal accounting controls, there are certain best practices that you should be aware of. And we're going to talk about those. First thing we want to know is, what are internal accounting controls? They are processes put in place by a company's management team to monitor the accuracy of financial records and transactions. One of those processes does include bookkeeping. Another one might be making sure you count your till and account for, this is for petty cash. You want to make sure you count your till at the end of every day, and you want to make sure that not all of your employees have access to the till. These really help protect the assets of a business by ensuring everything is accounted for properly. In other words, they provide oversight into the internal workings of the company's financial systems. The most obvious benefit of having an effective internal accounting control system in place is that, one, it helps keep the honest, and it helps ensure accuracy in financial reporting and record keeping. It also helps prevent fraud, theft, and other forms of mismanagement or misuse of funds. Even minor thefts, office supplies kind of comes to mind, can bring a big business to its knees. If there's enough of it. So we want to help make sure that there are internal controls in place for all of this. Also, strong internal controls can help businesses streamline processes and reduce costs associated with manual labor and paperwork. By manual labor, they just mean it's not automated. So me sitting down and analyzing financials is also considered manual labor because I have to do it. And finally, having effective internal controls in place will increase investor confidence in your organization. So if you ever want to have an investor come in, if you want to be on Shark Tank, or you want to do anything similar to that, having strong internal controls and an external accounting company will increase investor confidence, since it shows that you take your finances seriously and you've taken steps to prevent potential problems from arising. Now, when it comes to creating an effective internal control system, there's some key steps you should follow. One, identify any risks or potential areas where errors could occur. This would be, errors would be, we want to make sure that, say, if you do invoicing, we want to make sure those invoices and payments are matched to a deposit. And that helps us keep from overstating your income. That's one example, but we want to make sure that we can identify risks where errors can occur, and we can also identify risks where theft or fraud could occur. Number two, implement procedures to address those risks. Three, regularly review the procedures. Now, I really think most businesses they may do 1 and 2, but they tend, especially small businesses, because the business owner is just so incredibly busy, and I know firsthand, they tend to forget to review. They'll put things in place, and then they kind of expect to set it and forget it. Nothing in business works that way. You business owners need to make sure you are reviewing your procedures, I would say at least every quarter, and make sure that they are working for your company. So then this is particularly for companies with employees. So if you're a solopreneur, this may not apply to you, but you do need to kind of have this in the back of your head that you need to be minding your spending as well. So we want to review the procedures and make sure that they're working. They may not work the first time. 4, we want to put measures in place to detect any issues. One of the questions I have been asked quite a bit concerns petty cash. And I have had clients say, if he only counts petty cash like once a week. Petty cash should be kept under lock and key. One, no matter how much you trust your employees, it should be kept under lock and key, and only one person who's on the premises at a time should have that key. And to make sure to detect any issues before they arise, we also want to make sure to count the till frequently. This is just an example. So if I have $100 in petty cash and it's in a cash box locked up, and at the end of the day, I should be able to count that money, and there should either be $100 sitting there, or I should be able to say, this is what came in sales minus this is what I have receipts for spending on. And I'll know exactly, what should be there. So that's one example. Don't let it go a whole week unless you're the only one with the key. And that is, if you are in a business that needs petty cash, you're probably not the only one with a key. You do need to have an employee who has a key, but only one, possibly 2. You don't need to have every employee have access to it. Monitor how well these systems are working. Are your employees following the procedures? That is the biggest thing. If they are following the procedures, are you getting the outcome from the procedures that you expected? Let's see, we want to make sure all employees understand their roles within the system. One of the internal controls that we talk about in the accounting degree is splitting up the roles of the people who have the cash. So in other words, I often tell potential clients, you want to have us do your books because we're a fresh set of eyes. We don't have access to anybody's money. We set it up that's our internal control. We set it up that way so my employees don't have access to any client funds. And we are very diligent about making sure that we notify clients before we make, let's say, tax payments on their behalf. We want to tell them ahead of time so that they do not have any nasty surprises. I also don't allow my staff to have access to client billing details. So they may have access to the agreement, but not the ACH information. In fact, I don't even put that in a place where employees can access it. It's not that I don't trust my employees, I trust them very much, but I want to make sure that if there is ever an issue, I know who was at fault or who was not. And there should never be an issue. So we want to make sure all employees understand their roles. So that would be, this is the bookkeeper, this is the controller, this is who controls the outflow of money, and this is the person who signs the checks. They should all be different people unless you're a solopreneur. Keep detailed records of all transactions. This is really our bread and butter, is helping our clients keep those detailed records. We need to see, again, we generally just work with very small businesses. So usually it's the business owners, but we really want to see and have access to the receipts. We want to make sure that there's no commingling of funds. We want to make sure that everything is properly accounted for. That is our role. We want to train staff regularly on proper procedures. So again, just because you set up one procedure doesn't mean that your staff is going to continue to do that. People are lazy by nature, myself included. And following procedures can seem burdensome, but it's important to make sure that you remind your employees and retrain them frequently. By frequently, I would say once a quarter in the beginning, especially for a new employee, and then you could maybe do it once a year. We want to retrain them regularly on proper procedures, just so they don't get lazy or complacent or forgetful. If it becomes necessary, you want to take corrective action immediately. The sooner we can catch it, the sooner we can fix it. Keep educating yourself on industry trends related to accounting standards and compliance regulation. Every industry is going to have a slightly different way of accounting. Lawyers' offices are horrible because they are highly regulated and they have to do their accounting a certain way. And every lawyer has a slightly different way of doing it, and it depends on their specialty. So that's one. We need to make sure we need to know, what does the bar require as far as IOLTA trust funds, for example? What is required for construction companies? What kind of accounting do they require? So we want to make sure that both our business owners and Bookkeeping Made Simple as a company, we continue to stay up on industry trends. I receive so many accounting newsletters because I'm trying to stay up on all of it. I can't keep track of every law that goes through Congress, but I'm trying really hard to do that because I need to know what the industry accounting standards and compliance regulations are for small business. And we don't really have a niche company that we work with. We work with small business owners who are overwhelmed trying to take care of their bookkeeping and accounting and payroll and taxes and all of that. But we do want to make sure that all of our clients are in compliance so that they don't have problems down the road. So having an effective internal control system is essential for protecting your assets, and it helps maintain accuracy in all financial matters in your organization. No matter what kind of business you own, and by that I mean whether it's an S Corp, a C Corp, an LLC, sole proprietorship, partnership, whatever kind of business, whatever industry you're in, having a well thought out plan or internal accounting controls is essential if you want to ensure accuracy and protect against possible fraud or misuse of funds. The key is understanding which processes need to be implemented. Not all processes are appropriate for every business, as well as how often they need to be renewed and updated and retrained. By following guidelines, the guidelines I just talked about, small business owners can create an effective internal control system that will safeguard their assets while still allowing them the flexibility they need in order to grow their businesses successfully over time. And of course, if you need help with any of this, give us a call, 801-692-0032. We would be happy to go over that with you. Thanks, and I am looking forward to talking to you again soon.